family. I see you, Liberty. I'm gonna get my life started. Hold on, what's going on? This might be my mute. Okay, cool. Do do do. We are on the route, family. Trying to get my life together. So forgive me. Oh Lord, family, glad to be back with you. Give me a second. Still trying to get some of my life together. Yeah. Uh. Oh no. What the blood? What the? What the? Hell? Oh shit! I forgot to turn on what's the name. Um. I am going to turn it on, so in case we get somebody feel froggy and want to jump on the I am going to have to view that later. It is showtime, family. I'm talking to my text. I'm getting messages, and you know where we at. Hey, I wonder how many points you got. I can't wait. Um, I actually been thinking about trying to make the book like the first giveaway, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, it probably still would be a giveaway, but I don't think I make it based on points, or it won't just be stuck with Twitch. Twitch. Let me see. We got everything. I don't need Twitch. And we got Instagram. Big Mike. And me and Boz was talking about you the other day, brother. If you still there, I appreciate you. You know what I mean? All right. Okay. So let me make sure. Woo. Since this is now the Terrence, brother. Glad you could show up. We working on. As a matter of fact, we're gonna do some home. Well, not some homework, but we're gonna do a little activity today. So don't mind this camera switch real quick. I gotta turn on the guest thing. Boo boo boo. So I know y'all want to get a close up of my beautiful face anyway. So you know, that's just how it go. My brother, we're gonna do a little work on well, we've been working on identity this week. We'll be doing the trait chart tonight. No, I'm talking too much, but okay, family. So glad to have you here, back for another episode of Soul Swami. Cat, I appreciate you sliding through for a second. I know you got some stuff to do tonight too, so but hopefully you'll be here for us to do that identity map. Personal identity map. Because I think that's a dope activity. And I think if you do it with love and intention, it can definitely be some artwork that you hang on your wall. But we're going to get through that. We going to get there. We going to get there. We going to get there. All right, family. So this is Soul Swami Live, another episode of Soul Swami Live. If you're new here, we discuss healing, all things healing, and we do that in various formats through. See, she can't. Oh, she can see you on the screen, so she got she on Instagram, and the Instagram comments don't show up on the screen because I don't know, Instagram a hater. Facebook's supposed to, but Facebook a hater too, so they don't show up on the screen. But we discuss all things, healing in various forms, whether it be through general conversations, live energy readings, and including our spinoff show on Thursday night, which is book club, and that allows us to reconnect to the youth in us by having someone read to us. Like most kids, if you don't know, my background is children and families, and I think most kids like to be read to. It's the one-on-one attention, it's the group attention, it's the excitement, it's just a bunch. So we do that. You can catch us every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Those are the main site. I mean, scratch YouTube, Twitch, and Facebox. I do be on TikTok sometime, but it'd be so random. I wouldn't suggest. I am on TikTok, so you can get clips and things like that on TikTok. But that's about it. At the beginning of every show, we generally do some energy work, and this week we are on our root chakra, hence the red lighting. So, the root chakra is good for it is the energy point for your survival instincts, your sense of stability, your sense of safety, your sense of security, because safety and security is a little different, and your sense of grounding, your grounding, how connected you feel. The color for your root chakra is red, hence the red lighting. So if you are into light therapy, you want to do a red lighting. The element for your root chakra is earth. So you want to do a little grounding to get a little reconnected with your earth, with your root. Grounding is pretty much walking barefoot in the dirt. Interact with some earth in some form or fashion. However you do it. Hug a tree. Walk in the sand. Be like me and work with your plant babies because they always need love. If you are into essential oils, you want to think things like frankincense and myrrh. I'm trying not to laugh this time. Patchouli and black pepper is fantastic for your root. So I'm glad I shake that in most of my foods because we getting some black pepper. If you are into stones and crystals and gemstones, you want to think red jasper, garnet, black obsidian, bloodstone are all fantastic for your root chakra. Next, we do a little sound therapy, and we're going to just use the bowl tonight because I got an activity and I don't quite know how much time that's going to make. So we'll do the sound bowl and then we'll work on our breath work. We did triangle breathing last week, and what you want to do, Liberty? I'll let you pick. Box breathing 444, triangle breathing 333, 369, or 478. Three, 6, 9, 478. Messing with you, you're gonna say 478. Triangle. You want to stick with the new one? Okay, cool beans. We'll do triangle breathing next. Don't worry if you're unfamiliar with that. I'll explain how we do triangle breathing when we get to that step. But right now, just listen to the sound bowl and allow it to calm your energy. And since we're on our root, help you feel grounded and reconnected. Hey, listen, she a bold hater. We ain't gonna worry about her today. And it's funny, I thought about the rain stick, but I just didn't want to get up to go get it at this point, and I knew I wasn't gonna do it that long. So you know what I mean. You gotta ask her why she don't like it. What's it doing to her spirit? Making her itch. It's making her itch. You feel me? Okay, so for the breathing, I was laughing at myself because I was thinking about the visualization. I've been kind of slack with the visualization, and they just been kind of evolving as we go through it. But now for our breath work, I want you to, as a matter of fact, we're going to do the visualization at the same time as the breath work. So what I need you to do, I want you to imagine yourself just kind of walking on some grass, on somebody's yard, your yard, anybody's yard, nobody's yard. It doesn't even matter. But I want you to feel like, you ever seen that grass? That the grass is kind of thick and tapered. The grass looks so good that even the dirt looks healthy. It's that thick dirt and thick grass where you step in it and the grass just folds and crunches under your feet, and then you kind of sink a little bit into the dirt. It ain't always the best gas for running on, but it's fantastic for walking on. So I want you to imagine yourself walking on that grass barefoot, that thick, soft Kentucky fescue, or whatever grass is in your neighborhood as we do this breath work. For the 3-3-3 for triangle breathing, it is you breathe in for 3, you hold for 3, and you release for 3. So all I need you to do is just focus in on your visualizations and listen to the sound of my voice and repeat after me. So just focus on your visualization and your breathing, and I will keep track for you, all right? So remember, you're walking on the grass, beautiful, beautiful grass, and we are doing triangle breathing. On the count of 3, we will start. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in 3, 2, 3. Hold 3, 2, 3. Release 3, 2, 3. Breathe in 3, 2, 3. Hold 3, 2, 3. Release 3, 2, 3. Breathe in 3, 2, 3. Hold 3, 2, 3. Release 3, 2, 3. Last time, family. Breathe in 3, 2, 3. Hold 3, 2, 3. Release 3, 2, 3. Now, as you finish the breathing exercise and you still visualizing yourself walking on that grass, I want you to repeat these affirmations after me. I am safe and secure. I am grounded and centered. I am self-sufficient. I am financially secure. I love being in my body. I am safe and secure. I am grounded and centered. I am self-sufficient. I am financially secure, and I love being in my body. All right, family, let's get this party started. Set off on the left, y'all. Set up. Oh my God. I got my do-rag up here. I had to make sure I took it off before I got started. So I'm so excited for y'all. To share with y'all 2 things. One, We finished the second rhyme book. So this is how much work we've done together. I like to show these so we can see together as a group how much work we've done and how far we've gone. So we finished. This was the first rhyme book. So these are all shows and information that we have discussed. Each page full of stuff. And then we moved on to our second rhyme book. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And it is full. So family, we are on the third, volume 3 of our healing process. I'm crunk about that. Another thing I want to say is I love, I'm a sentimental person, right? So as funny as it is, one of the reasons gift giving isn't my overall love language is generally how people think about gift giving. They generally think about gift giving as major gifts. But I'm a sentimental person. You can give me something cheap. You can give me something free. You can give me something expensive. I like thoughtfulness. So being thought of, being seen, I love when people do something for me. Oh, what's amazing? I'm a little bit behind. That we finished. We on the third rhyme book. I know we've been working, right? We on the third rhyme book and one book coming out. So, okay. So I won't show this. So I got to brush one of my. I'm laughing because I'm about to do it. One of the Soul family went to Dog Whisper, went to DR, the Dominican Republic, and brought me back another bracelet. So I added to my collection. It's going to be on with us tonight, and I appreciate it. But what I started laughing at is the TikTok video that drives me. I mean, it does drive me crazy. I think it's hilarious. But this dude, he always say, "How you know I Dominican, papi? How you know I Dominican, papi?" And his outfit is hilarious. But that "how you know I Dominican" lives in my head rent free ever since Godfrey said, "I know black, I Dominican, papi, nunca, nunca negro, nunca negro." So then this dude comes out, "How you know I Dominican, papi?" And it's hilarious. So when she went to the DR, she brought me something back. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. How you know I Dominican, papi? How you know? How you know I Dominican, papi? Please go look that up on TikTok so that joke will be funny to more than just me. Because I recognize that my For You page is my For You page. And it is uniquely designed to my taste and interest. And that can be wild. My taste and interest can be wild. I feel like maybe I can move that a little bit. Oh, shoot. Let me stop while I'm doing the show. Okay. So, Okay, so something that kind of came up. I don't know. These words, they've been going wild in my life over the last couple of weeks. And the one two. I don't think we talked about them last week, but 2 words that kind of showed up in my work this week. We might have talked about it on the show. We might have talked about it a little bit. Was dedication and I don't feel like going to the second round, but dedication and commitment, right? So how that wind up happening is I was having a discussion with one of the Soul family, and as a matter of fact, there are several people in the Soul family that think it is that they would like to have a woman's group that is kind of similar to the men's group that I participate in. Me and my other friend, me and my homeboy are gonna try to make another men's group or something like that. But they would like to have a group, something similar to the men's group, right? And in discussing my thoughts on this, and one of my major concerns was around this idea of commitment. And when I was telling them about, you know what I mean, I don't know if the commitment would be there. And that's my concern about starting that group, is that the commitment wouldn't be there. And the friend was like, you're probably right. Because I said all it takes is all it takes is one thing. Or your kids need something or something. It just takes one thing and the commitment can go out the window. Which now that isn't a statement of right, wrong, good, bad. It's just a statement of what it is. Most people have that their commitment can be interesting. But one of the reasons we talk about this is because we want to make sure we move commitment out of that box of just relationship. Commitment is activities, period. So what is dedicated? Dedicated is devoting or setting aside for a particular purpose. And commitment is an agreement or pledge to a cause or goal involving a strong sense of responsibility. And that lies the issue. We all have so many responsibilities and so many things that we commit to that it becomes very difficult for a lot of us to take on new responsibilities, new commitments. Now, one thing that I understand is that a person can be 100% dedicated and still be 100% uncommitted, right? So I firmly understand that when the people show up, they will be dedicated. They will give their best. You will see the best forms of them. They'll take their chances. They'll communicate. They'll do all these things for that moment. The thing about it is dedication is simply for that moment. You don't have to be dedicated to something for 30 years. You just got to be dedicated to it while you are doing that activity, right? So now commitment is for the long haul. It is a long-term obligation that you will stick with it even in difficult times, right? So the thing about it is the responsibility comes with commitment. The longevity comes with commitment. A perfect example of the difference between dedication and commitment is marriage. So many of us are now treating marriage as a dedication, something we do for the moment. But marriage is a commitment. They always say it's a commitment because why? It's having to hold, sickness and health, to death do you part. It's supposed to be from here to the end, right? So when we think about this, I ask, or I want you to, when you think about dedication and commitment, I want you to think, are you building your confidence on your dedication? Or are you building your confidence on your commitment? And do you need to develop new relationships with both dedication and commitment, right? So, and I can tell you this, I'm committed to this healing path. You can see, very much committed. But depending on the show, depending on my life, depending on what's going on, you get different energies. My dedication levels can vary, very much so. So ask yourself, what is your dedication? And what is your relationship with dedication? And what is your relationship with commitment? All right, so back to the meat of the show. Last week we have been, not last week, but the last couple of weeks we have been discussing identity, right? And last week we talked about how is identity shaped. We went into internal factors first. Some of the internal factors that help to shape your identity are your personality traits, your values and beliefs, and self-reflection. Do you do it? How often do you do it? Is it prioritized in your experience, your human experience? Then we moved on to external factors. External factors that help to shape your identity are your family and upbringing, culture, and society. Your education helps to shape your identity, but that is an external thing. And your relationships. Relationships. Thank you. It is great questions. Um, and when you have those questions or you ask yourself those questions, be genuine. You know what I mean? I know, and one of the reasons I say that is because a lot of there is an energy of commitment phobia that is going on. And so many of us mask that commitment phobia in so many different ways. I say it's a fear-based thinking because it is. And one of the examples I always use is the people who be like, I haven't been in a relationship for 15 years. I haven't been in a relationship for 10 years. I haven't been in a relationship for this or that long, however long that is. And those are people who have now become committed folks. No matter how they've justified their fear of commitment, it's still a fear of commitment, right? And it's one thing to say that you committed, it's another thing to be committed to any idea, any process for 20, 30 years. One of the things, the perfect example is, like I said, this healing process is not just dedication. It takes commitment. When you take those steps, when you get that realization, it does take dedication for you to use those new tools, recognize when to use those new tools, trust yourself and your ability to use those tools correctly when the moment arises. It takes dedication, right? But it takes commitment because healing is an evolving journey. I always find it funny when people say, come to me healed, you must be healed. They don't understand that healing is an evolving journey. There is no healed. Life will give you new things that you will need to heal from, grow from, move on beyond, incorporate into yourself. So healing, becoming the most authentic, the best version of yourself, not only takes dedication, it takes commitment. And the real question that we have to ask ourselves is, how committed are we to our healing? I use marriage as a commitment, right? That's one example that we talk about a lot. But I really want you to ask the question, how committed are you to your healing, to you becoming your best self, right? So now back to the that's and I think healing is a lifelong journey, and I do think that that is one of the reasons why some people struggle with the commitment to it. They can be dedicated in the moment, they struggle with the commitment to it. Because when you start it, you find out like, man, it's a whole bunch of stuff I got to heal from. It's like when I worked with children with reactive attachment disorders, sometimes we'd have to give them some sort of discipline, right? And one thing that most of the time our form of discipline, because we wasn't whooping kids, was a punishment, right? And the interesting thing about the punishment is we learn to not give kids, like, don't just tell a child you're on punishment, right? Because that sounds like forever. You know, they say, well, like puppies and dogs, they think whatever is happening to them in that moment is going to be happening to them forever. They don't see that as an end. So when you tell your child you're on punishment, or if we told those children you're on punishment, that seems like forever. And that idea alone decreases the chances of them acting in a way that you want. They have nothing to work towards, this invisible date, right? So what we'd have to say is, you're on punishment for, we're going to take this for 3 days. We're going to take this for a week. And you have to be reasonable. You can't do stuff. You're gonna be on punishment for 6 months. You can't be on punishment. You can't be like, you're gonna be on, I'm going to take this phone till I feel like you deserve it back. What do I work towards? And kids, as well as adults, if they see that there's no goal to work towards, they won't work towards it. They'll be like, forget your goal. Right? And yeah. Perfect example. So outside of the external and the internal influences on your identity, we talked about the types of things that we experience that influence both external and internal. One thing that influences both external and internal identity is our life experiences. And I do want to point this out. You notice we said so many different things prior to we just got to life experiences. Life experiences is just one piece of the puzzle. Now, all of these go into life experiences, but life experiences, the things that you've done, that's the decisions you have made to create the life around you, is both external and internal. And then the narrative, the stories that we tell about our experiences, the stories that we tell about ourselves, how we make sense of our world and our life. The narrative is both an internal and external factor that influences identity. Okay. So next we are going to, since we were talking about traits last week, prior to us moving on to we're going to do, I don't like the lighting on this. Let me see. We are going to do hey man. What's going on? What's going on? Okay, there we go. Now I can see it. We are going to try to work on a trait map for ourselves. I think it's kind of amazing. We all have an idea of who we are, but it's always funny when you be like, "Tell me who you are." How difficult that conversation can become, especially after you get through about 3 or 4 things. You're like, well, I don't know. So we're going to work on a personal trait map. Now, there are 2 ways to do it. One way is you start with yourself. Now, what we're going to basically do, we're going to break this in. Let me tell you how to do this trait map. And I'll repeat how to do it. So you start with, of course, you're looking at yourself. So you start with self. But you want to, for our process, we're going to create the categories first. How we've been functioning and we've been learning about our healing, we've broken that into 4 categories: spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. So those are the 4 categories that we're going to be using to help us flesh out our identity, our personal identity, right? Then after we start with that, we start with ourselves, we go into the categories, then we'll start identifying traits that fits in each categories. What helps describe us for this category, right? So if I say physical, one thing that would be physical for me, if I enjoy, physically, I'm black, right? And that will be a trait, for a physical characteristic of my trait. Right? As a matter of fact, I'm laughing because I just thought about a different one, and I'll go use that. I got strong calf muscles. That is a physical trait. Like it is. I got. I was a wrestler. I ran. I was a running back. So I got strong legs. Enough said. I got strong calves. That's a physical characteristic, right? Now, after we decide the trait, we're going to start thinking about the influence that trait has on our identity. So now I got strong calves, right? How it it relates on my identity is I had friends in college, they literally used to call me calf muscle. Just when I walk up to them, calf muscle. So that winds up being the influence on my identity. So I recognize that I have strong calves. Like, listen, well, like I said, it influenced on my identity. I became a wrestler. I became a football player. I did leg type stuff. You know what I mean? To the point where I got a nickname called calf muscles. So again, it is the category, the trait, and then the influence, right? So there are two ways we can do this. You can just go through the one way that you can do it that we're not going to do it is you can pick each category. You can get your sheet of paper, start with your physical category, and go through all the traits that you have for your physical category. And then after you go through the traits of your physical category, then you go to the influence on your identity. That's one way, right? But the way we're going to do it tonight, simply put, is through a trait map, right? The reason why I like the trait map is because if you do this, if you take your time and do it with love and intentions and genuine creativity, this can be something that you can turn into artwork that you hang on the wall. I'm one of those people that 95%, okay, I'll say 90% of the art in my house is art that I personally created. And the ironic thing about that is I'm not an artist. I'm not a real good drawer. I still do bubble letters and graffiti. I do got that one 1985 S that everybody used to do, the 3 lines crossover. But I'm not a real artist in that sense. You know what I mean? An artist with art supplies and stuff like that. So I just took a couple of pictures. I put them on the wall. If we create something, as we create this becomes your visual representation of the map for your identity. So if you ever get lost in who you are, you ever get lost about what you stand for, you have a visual representation. I love to put stuff on canvas, and I'm going to give them a shout out, as I shouldn't, but who cares? I always use canvasdiscount.coms. I put a bunch of stuff on Canvas. People love that as a gift. One, if you need a gift idea for one of your loved ones, you find one of their old pictures from when they thought they was fly. You put it on a canvas and you give it to them. They will love it. Love it, 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 love it. So how do we do this? Work with me, because we using, what are we using? Art. So how do we do this map? It is just like the maps we did in school. So we're going to start with a shape. We start with a little circle. And inside that circle, we're going to label it. Okay, hold on. And move this over. Me. Get my keyboard. Me. Right? And then what we want to do is begin. We're going to put our 4 categories on there. So first category, let me do the lines. We got one line here. We got one line here. One line here. One line here. It's funny. This was accidental, but I'm laughing at myself, and the teacher in me shows up. I pay attention to some of the, I'm so very observant that it's ridiculous sometimes. But I do find it ironic that the pattern of my lines is more of like, it looks like an install, like it's moving. So that represents how identity is evolving. So we're going to add our circles. You put your circles, we're going to label them after we add them. There's 1 circle, 2 circles. Okay, that looks bad. Three circles, four. One gun, two gun, three. I started thinking about Onyx. I don't know if you're an Onyx fan, but one of their first songs, that's how they they started out. One gun, two gun, three gun, four. This is going to be our physical. This is going to be our mental. This is going to be our emotional. If you do it on something like this, it'd be fantastic because you can change colors. I should have did that, but I'll do some coloring and all that other stuff. I think I am going to turn it into art for myself as well. So, what is it? Physical, emotional, spiritual. Uh-oh. Don't embarrass me. Listen, I'm gonna tell you now, man. I'll be struggling to spell. I know so many words. But when it comes to spelling them, who knows? Who knows? I'll be wilding out sometimes. So I don't know. Which? Let me see. All right. Let's see how we want to start this. All right, so let's start with our physical, since that's something I said. What is a physical characteristic? A physical trait about yourself? The one I said is I'm gonna say I'm dark skinned. All right. So I'm gonna put in there dark skin. You put in whatever you want. You can pick complexion. You can pick whatever floats your boat. Come on now, what we doing, family? Dark. No, dark. Oh man, come on, man! Don't embarrass me in front of the company. Yeah, let's erase that. It's embarrassing me. Oh Lord. Yeah, let's try that again. Don't mind. We know it's dark skinned. It is tragic. Make yours a little bit. What's his name? Now, the influence for that, because I am dark skinned, how that influences my identity. I don't say I'm African American. I don't say a lot of different things. The way that it shapes my identity is I firmly look at myself as a black man. And it is a pivotal part of my identity. I'm proud of my blackness. I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of the way that my people have survived. I'm proud of the way that my family has survived. So my dark skin ties into my love for being black. That is a huge identity. All right. So now we're gonna try one for mental. We're gonna work through this. And that's pretty much the process. So you keep going on. You can add as many things as you want to each category. but it'll help you flesh it out, right? Mental. Let's get us a little line. And a circle. What is something that helps to shape my identity? I would have to say something that's major for my mental is my thoughts. And how do my thoughts, what is, oh man, don't do this. God dang it. You're going to get rid of you. Okay, cool. Oh, shoot. Thoughts. Now, what is the influence of my thoughts? One thing that it makes me feel good, I think I'm very intelligent. I've done some things that kind of helped me build confidence in that. Like take honors class, got a master's degree. People ask me for advice. People always talk about how interesting I see things and perspectives. Even my thoughts allow me to be in this position to be able to help others in their own their own healing process. Is a fantastic trait for me. I identify as intelligent. How do I do it? I can't even see the word. What am I missing? I can't see it. That would be a mental for me. Then we can go to emotional. Emotional will be one. You draw you a nice little line. Give yourself a nice little circle. Honestly, something I would have to say for emotional would be for myself. Make sure you're doing this for yourself. You may be identifying in some of the same ways as I do. Did we lose somebody? Okay, no. KOS. Oh, it's about that time. What are we doing? For my emotional, I think I am deeply emotional. I feel things deeply. Now, how that winds up influencing my identity is, simply put, I identify as an empath. Because I feel things so deeply, it's easy for me to identify as an empath. Identify as empath. Oh Lord. That is an emotional trait for myself. Then the last one that we're gonna cover is spiritual. Spiritual. Let me see what I got. Something that I oh wait, where we at? There we go. Spiritual. In my circle. So something that I identify with that would be considered spiritual is I think I'm intuitive. Intuitive. And how that intuition shapes my identity is I really use my intuitiveness to be a healer. I think that is one of the main gifts that I use in this process to help other people. It helps me to identify as a healer. As a healer. And family, that is the process of creating a map. Take some time, finish it out for yourself. Let me back up some so we can get the full picture. So I think I will. Over this break, we're not gonna do a show on Thursday. So I might take some time over this break to do do it a little bigger. Give yourself enough space. You might not be able to just do it on a sheet of paper. You might need some post-it paper. I looked up because I have some those giant post-it notes on my wall. And simply put, this is the process of creating a trait map to help you identify your traits, right? And when you're thinking about this, make sure you think about some of the traits that you've identified that are good traits for you. And then also think about some of the traits that you've identified that you want to grow beyond or reshape your identity or your relationship with those words, with those identities that you identified. All right. Family. Where we at next? We are back on side. Wait a minute. I can't even see what that says. No, it's crazy. All the darn. I was looking at them, but they disappeared. Chat box. What did you say, Liberty? Okay, fantastic. I seen technology showing out. Okay. Yeah, it was giving me a hard time. I do think it's a great exercise. I appreciate that. It's like I said, once you go through it, you can see how the beginning of it itself is going to be a very take your time. It's not an activity that you need to do in one part. I'll show you how mine has grown next week. And then you show me how yours has grown too. But like I said, take some time, put some energy and some love, color coordinated, treat it like it's going to be art for you. And this is a perfect example. I mean, this is a perfect thing that you can do, that you don't have to be an excellent artist to create your own art. So think about that. Identify yourself. If you want to, how this wind up being purposeful is because at some point in this process of identity, we're going to make sure that we discuss separating our old identity from the identity that we want. That'll be fantastic in your journal. I think, I don't know how I want to do it. I think I want to do it digitally, like I just did, and fill in the colors and things like that, because it will be, if you do it digitally like this, it's easier to transfer into some other medium and put it as artwork on your wall. If you don't have any intentions of doing it as artwork, then it doesn't matter. Now, you could also create it like that and then take a picture and then turn the picture into the artwork, but that might not give the same clarity that you would like if you did it digitally and then changed the digital into a canvas or something. You just blew it up. So either way, but if you take a picture of it, you can resize the picture, put it on your wall. It'd be fantastic. So next we are talking about, we're getting down to the wire. So next we are discussing the role that memory plays in our identity. How much we gonna get through? We'll get through a couple. KOS. It's 8 o'clock now. Wow, God. Liberty, I know you gotta go. You got a sport cast, so we'll do a couple of the memory. What role does memory play in the shaping of our identity? Right. So one thing that memory does for us is it helps us to recall the past and make sense of our experiences. Right. Our memory helps us to construct a coherent narrative about who we are. Memory does a thing, right? But when we say this, when I say that it does this, it recalls the past and makes sense of our experiences. Notice that I didn't say the word true, honest, valid, or right. Because our memory may not be any of those things. Memory is a funny, fickle thing like that sometimes, right? The next thing that memory does, the next major role that memory plays in our life is for self-continuity, right? It helps you helps you look like the same person over time, even though you may have changed or evolved. A perfect example of that is, let's say you getting ready to ride a bike at your adult age and you love riding a bike. Let's say you get ready to ride that bike and then you have a moment where you think about the first time you rode a bike, right? Thinking about that first time or how many other times you may have rode a bike, it helps to shape your confidence and your skill and ability. So if you identify one of your physical things, you identify as a bike rider, your memory helps to support that identity, because you can think about all the times that you have ridden a bike. So memory can help you do self-continuity. Memory can make that self-continuity not be so great, because you can be stuck in the things where you used to get in trouble for. So now, for example, one of the major things I had to heal from in this healing process is being alone, right? The issue that I had with being alone was, as a child, generally when I was alone, punishment, I had done something wrong. So when I became an adult, being alone, and for my memory to create that continuity between who I was and who I am, being alone usually symbolized that I did something wrong, right? So these memories can affect you in that positive or in that negative way. They play a role. You have to decide on if it is doing positive or negative, right? The next thing, and we talk about this a lot, is narrative. Your memory helps you build your identity by the stories of your life. Memory helps you build your identity by the stories of your life. It helps you answer questions like, who am I? Where have I been? And what do I stand for? Memory helps to shape your values and your beliefs. A memory, like for an example, a memory, let's say you were having a tough time, right? One of my favorite things, and I don't always recognize it, is when I'm feeling a little bit emotional. One of the best things that a person can do is just give me a hug, right? That hug, or being recognized that I'm having a tough time and someone trying to support me through that tough time, that my memories of those examples of support help to shape my idea of compassion, right? Now, the wild thing about that, on the flip side, some of these negative ideas shape our relationship with things too. For example, when we think about trust, if we start thinking about the times where we trusted a person and the events didn't lead out to prove that trust was warranted, if we ever felt betrayed or disappointed, the words that we talked about last week, that shapes our identity with trust. How we think about trust. That's a perfect example of the people I talked about who haven't been in a relationship 15 or so years. That identity has been shaped by the memories of the negative experiences they had in that event, right? So I ask you, when we think about that, what memories are we using to shape our values and beliefs? Are they the good ones to point us in the directions? Or are we limiting ourselves to the traumatic ones? Right? Next is selective memory. And we're going to go deep into selective memory probably next week. Selective memory. The thing about memory is we don't remember everything that has happened. We remember what we feel is meaningful, right? What we feel as meaningful. Now, the thing about that is it works interestingly, because a painful memory at times can later be seen as a source of strength. That's how we don't always recognize that we've been through a traumatic experience, because we've turned those traumatic experiences into our ideas of strength. Selective memory. Selective memory. Or another example is a forgotten passion may resurface. The example I use for my personal self is my love for music. There were times where I got so overwhelmed by the experiences in life that I didn't use music to help guide me through. But now I've recaptured my old passion. My love for music has resurfaced to the point that every show we do something musical. I have more musical instruments in my house than I've ever had in my life. I just had a keyboard. We used to have a keyboard all the time. But now I got wave drums. I got steel drums. I got bowls. I got rain sticks. I got ukulele. My love for memory, an old passion. The one that we talk about a lot is dancing. I know a lot of friends that love dancing and don't dance anymore. So a resurfaced passion reflects our selective memory, right? Also, memory has a responsibility to be reflective in practice, right? So how we do that is memory helps us reflect on our lessons learned, the experiences, the lessons we've learned from those experiences. Memory helps us honor our ancestors, the people who came before us. We remember them. And not only should we remember them, we should honor them, right? In memory. And it also helps us with our past iterations of ourselves. Who have we been? How many times have we changed? Did we grieve the loss of our old self, right? Whether you think about it as the past lives or past people that you have been in this one time life. Memory helps you do that as a reflective practice. And the next thing that reflective practice does, memory does, is help you reconnect to your purpose. Sometimes we forget why we're doing what we do, but our memory helps us reconnect to our purpose. Right. So family, that is a little bit about memory. We did our trait chart. We talked about memory and we reviewed last week. This Thursday, I do want to say we will not be having book club. I want you to make sure you celebrate Thanksgiving, however you do it. Enjoy the time with your family. Even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, recognize that it is a time to spend with family and loved ones, and do make that space to be able to do that. And next week for the show, okay, shoot, I'm still in town, so we're not traveling yet. We're going to be on the road soon. Next week for the show, we're going to dive a little deeper into selective memory. One of the reasons I want to go a little bit deeper into selective memory, because we want to see how selective memory affects our identity. And once we recognize how selective of memory affects our identity, we begin to see how it affects the identity of those around us. And one way I say that is like when we have those conversations with our parents. Our parents hold a mirror up of how selective memory works. We could talk about something that was so traumatic to us and they won't have any idea. They will not remember it at all. Selective memory works. And that's the example. If you've ever had that conversation with your parent or someone that you cared about and they have no idea what you're talking about, that's a genuine response. They have selective memory. So we'll go a little bit deeper in selective memory. Again, for this week, I want to thank you for your time, your energy, and your support as always. And family, I will see you next week. And happy holidays to you people. Peace.